Welcome back to the Humble Throne, where leadership isn't measured in moments, but in momentum. I'm Todd Robatin, and this is episode 13, The Leadership Ripple Effect. Today, we're tracing something subtle but powerful, the ripple effect of humble decisions, because the choices you make, especially the quiet ones, don't just shape outcomes, they shape people. Now, let's start here. Every decision you make as a leader, well, it sends a signal not just about what you value, but about how others should behave, respond, and lead in turn. And the most powerful ripples, they often come from the smallest, most intentional acts. Think about the last time someone made a choice that stuck with you, not because it was flashy, but because it was grounded. That's the kind of leadership we're exploring today. And here's what humble decisions look like in action. It's the leader who pauses before reacting and teaches emotional regulation because of it. It's the manager who admits their mistakes, modeling vulnerability, and the mentor who listens without interrupting. In effect, creates psychological and, in cases, spiritual safety. They aren't grand gestures, they're micro moments, but they carry macro impact. They're humble decisions, and they echo. Because leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about what others do because of you. And when those decisions are rooted in humility, they create a culture of courage, trust, and growth. Years ago, I watched a senior leader take the blame for a team mistake, and they did it publicly. But he didn't deflect, he didn't make excuses, he didn't explain it away. He simply said, "That's on me. Let's learn and move forward together so we don't have to do that ever again, any of us." And you see, that moment, it changed the culture because suddenly people felt safe to take risks, to own their work, to lead with integrity. But it wasn't just about accountability, it was about modeling what it looks like to lead with humility. And that's the ripple effect. One humble decision, but dozens of empowered leaders because of it. Here's the truth: you don't always see the impact of your leadership, but it is there. It's there in how people speak, in how they show up, in how they treat others, even when you're not around. And the humble leader knows that influence isn't always visible, but it is always felt. So let's ground this in today's humble truths. Number one, small decisions shape big cultures. Every choice you make, especially the quiet ones, sets a tone for your leadership and your culture. Number two, humble choices create brave spaces. When you lead with humility, you invite others to show up fully. And number three, your leadership echoes, whether you hear it or not. Influence isn't always visible, but it is always felt. Now let those settle and echo through our reflection today. What's one quiet decision that you've made recently? And how might it be rippling outward? What kind of echo do you want your leadership to leave behind? Let's make this a bit more real. Here's a practice we can all try this week called the Ripple Audit. Take 10 minutes at the end of your day or the end of your week, depending on how busy your schedule is, and ask yourself these questions. What decisions did I make today that others might have noticed? Even the small ones, like how you responded to an email or greeted a colleague, how you collaborated on that project. What values did those decisions, big or small, reflect? Were they grounded in humility, empathy, and courage? Or were they just loud gestures that made no impact at all? And how might those choices ripple outward? What tone did you set? What permission did you give others and yourself? And then choose one ripple, good or bad, that you want to amplify tomorrow, not by doing more, but by doing it more intentionally and making them all positive in the right direction. Because the ripple effect, it's not about scale, it's about alignment into your social algorithm and the leadership you want to leave behind every single day in every ripple. And here's a bonus reflection. If your leadership left behind a ripple, and likely it did, what three words would you want it to carry? For me, it might be integrity, safety, and courage. Yours might be different. But once you name those three words, you can start living them, one quiet, humble decision at a time. Next time, we'll explore how humble leadership becomes the bridge across divides and fosters true belonging. But for today, lead with intention, choose with humility, and remember, every ripple, it starts with you, and it starts today. Thanks for joining me on the Humble Throne.